So what we could do is,
It's a bad idea.
No.
Nope. Kill really did. Ignition, the show for entrepreneurs.
Oh, were you recording?
There you go.
Not hit my head on the door jam?
All right, guys. As your boss, I've called this meeting.
You're not our boss.
Yeah, you're not a boss. That's wrong person.
Should there be a punchline or not?
I don't think there should be a punchline. I think if people have a punchline, they'll be confused. Rocky just came out and it just.
But the punchline always gets in. It's fun.
So you need the punchline so that you have the...
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
Hi, and welcome to Ignition. I'm Ellis Friedman.
And I'm Ramon Ray with Infusionsoft. Ignition is a weekly show where we help answer your questions regarding sales and marketing. We give you best practices to help you grow your business. And Ellis, if people want to reach us on the Ignition show, how can they do that?
They can email us at blog@infusionsoft.com.
Awesome. So Ellis, what is the outstanding question of the day?
It is outstanding, and it is from Angela. My couples counseling business has been growing slowly but steadily over the past 3 years. I have a decent newsletter list, and a number of people have suggested that I should start a podcast. I think it could be a great idea since I have a lot of content I could cover, but there are a few problems. First, I don't know how to make my content different than a lot of other relationship podcasts out there. Second, I can't stand the sound of my voice. I know that sounds superficial, but it really bothers me. Third, I don't know what kind of strategy I need. Help?
Wow. So Ellis, here's what I think. No, I won't tell you what I think. Yeah, it's all right.
Thank God.
So, gratefully, we have an expert who can help us with that today, and that's John Lee Dumas, who's a best of iTunes notable expert in podcasting and all things audio. He has 1 million listeners per month, and the podcast is 7 days a week. That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
John, welcome to the Ignition.
I'm truly excited to be here. I think Angela has a phenomenal question, and I'm looking forward to diving into it.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, so let's start with the first part of Angela's question. She says she has a lot of content, but doesn't know how to make it stand out from other podcasts. So where would you start with that?
So, with a great intro, I do kind of want to jump on and saying that with my show, I knew that I had to do 3 things that were really critical. I think Angela could follow these 3 steps and be very successful as well, because there is a lot of busyness and noise in the relationship field and niche. So if she does these 3 steps, I think she'll find some success. Step number 1 is to be different. And now for me, being different meant I didn't want to just be like every other podcast that was interviewing entrepreneurs. I decided to do it 7 days a week. That was my version of being different. Nobody was doing a daily podcast. So have Angela look at her niche, at her industry, and say, what are people not doing? What void can I fill? Step number 2 was find that USP, the unique selling proposition. For me, Entrepreneur on Fire, that meant a very formatted show. I always ask my guests their biggest failure, lesson learned, aha moment, steps they took to turn that idea into success, and then we have a lightning round of 5 incredible questions. So my guests know what they're gonna get when they press the play button. So Angela, what's your USP, that unique selling proposition that your listeners can only get from you? And then, of course, number 3, add your personality. You have your own unique, special personality that no matter how many relationship coaches are out there, yours is different, yours is unique. So be yourself. Once I add a little JLD into the equation, things started happening. And Angela, add yourself in there.
JLD, the equation. John, just go through these. You talk about personality. How do you suggest Angela do that? Like, what if people, maybe she can't find it, she's not sure what it is? Because I noticed you said add it. So do you find some people try to stay niched and try to stay too rigid, and they don't let themselves, they take themselves too seriously?
That's a great question. So I see a lot of people being a culprit of this. I, for one, was a huge culprit of this. And the reality is we are all standing on the shoulders of giants. And that's okay, because we shouldn't be recreating the wheel anyways. We should start from somewhere. But as soon as you get your sea legs underneath you, so to speak, you need to start injecting your own personality in there and no longer just seeing what other people have done that's successful and just mimicking them. Again, not a bad place to start. We have to learn from somewhere, but then as soon as we get those sea legs and we start to feel more comfortable in our own shoes, bring out your personality, add that flair that only you have as a unique individual.
And so what about the third part of her question? She doesn't know what kind of strategy she needs. Where do we start?
There's a lot of strategies that you can employ. Number one is a podcast host, and then number two is a relationship advice expert. So I really kind of want to go through a couple opportunities and possibilities that Angela has. Number one, she could do an interview-based podcast, and that'd be great because she could get out there and find people in her niche, in her industry, who are authority figures, who have a lot of credibility already. She could go to them and say, hey, you have a great platform, you have a great message, a great brand, a great vision. I'd love to have you on my show, interview you for 25, 30 minutes on Skype. It's audio only. You can stay in your PJs if you're so wearing them. Like, no worries. Like, this is just an audio only call. And then I'm going to share your message with my audience. And that would be a great way for Angela to be providing value from experts almost from day one. And like, that's really exciting. Also, Angela, I'm sure you have a lot to say yourself. So think about topics that you can talk about. That can be your Thursday. The Mondays can be an interview. The Thursdays could be a topic that you know that a lot of your clients or potential clients are struggling with, and then you can just talk about it in a one-to-one manner, you to your listeners, and really develop that intimate relationship, which is what podcasting is so powerful for. And then also, let's say you have a weekly or a weekend Q&A show. Go to your audience. Maybe you have a Facebook group of your audience, or maybe you just tweet out, hey, I'm a relationship coach. What is your number one question today about relationship advice? And then have a Q&A session at the end. And when people know that you might answer their questions on your podcast, giving their name a shout out, giving where they're from a shout out, they're going to listen to your podcast. And it's a really great way to build a community. So there's a lot of strategies that you can employ. And again, there's nothing wrong with an interview-only based show, a topic-based only show, a Q&A only show, or a variety show of all three. It's up, you're the host. I do whatever I want on EO Fire, just like, we do whatever we want here on Ignition.
Exactly. Awesome.
We do.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Anything we want. So you touched on like a Monday, a Thursday, and a weekend. Do you find that like 3 days a week is a good number? I know I'm asking the 7-day-a-week podcaster, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
I want to take a step back and just say the number one most important thing is consistency. So you want to build a listener base that knows, likes, and trusts you. And to do that, you want them to get excited for your Monday release, for your Wednesday release, for your whatever you are going to share with them, you are going to have as a release schedule. They're going to be waking up that morning saying, I'm driving to work, but guess what? I know that Ignition goes live on Wednesday mornings. I'm going to go in and download it and be off to the races.
Don't watch Ignition in the car, at least if you're driving.
But you can do audio only. It's amazing.
Well, but then you'd miss this.
Yeah,
Exactly,
and this is, come on, this is where it's at. But I do want to sum up by saying there's no perfect frequency. Daily is a great method. Twice a week, 3 times a week, once a week, twice a month. Whatever frequency you choose, be very vocal about it and stick with it.
John, thank you so much for being here. It was a real pleasure to have you as our guest.
Really appreciate a lot of information.
Do we have the keys to Ignition?
We do. Oh, indeed. My name is Ramon Ray. Thank you so much for watching Ignition. And I'll just one more time, how can people send us their questions and comments and answers?
One more time,
Yes.
they can email us at blog@infusionsoft.com.
Thanks for watching Ignition.